Good morning, my trippy hippies. It is Friday. It is Friday. It is wake and bake. I am a little late, but hey, all in divine time, right? All in divine time. So I'm going to give you all a moment to jump over here and find me. I am going to go over to my handy dandy. Did I finish reading this? I did. Go over to my handy dandy hand device here and go into the group and start tagging folks because Facebook has decided it hates me and it wants to hide all of my lives and things. So we're going to help it along here today. We're going to give it a little bit of help. Everybody's saying that they miss my live, so I'm going to try to tag some folks. Who else? Melissa, not Melissa. Donna Hayslip. Everybody says put me on the list to get on here to not miss your lives, and I always forget to do that. People ask for it. I'm gonna give you all a few minutes. If you can do me a favor as you jump on here, say hello. I see some comments. Oh, that's me. That's me commenting. Good morning, Miss Heather Johns. If you do me a favor and tag a few folks, I'd appreciate it. We're gonna tag a few people today, just to get the ball rolling here. Um, Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Lisa Phillips. Everybody made it. I'm so glad y'all did. We are getting the ball rolling today. We're going to get out of that. We're a little bit late coming live. Usually, wake and bake is 9 o'clock, but you have to be awake to bake. At 9 o'clock, I was not fully awake. I've still not had a cup of coffee yet, but I did orange juice this morning instead. Having my coffee and my caramel at dockside of the lake house. What? How much fun. I'm hoping y'all went down for your birthday and did some stuff. I woke up this morning feeling some kind of way. I have had really good inflow kind of energy all week. And I woke up this morning kind of feeling like, meh. I don't know. I woke up this morning kind of feeling a little like tense. And I'm not going to allow myself to wallow in that today, right? I'm not going to allow myself to wallow in the tense today. Uh, I was surprised when I woke up this morning to, I ran out and can't find my medical card. Oh no. Yes, meditation night on top of the dune is going to be amazing. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you. I am going to take some deep breaths today. I am. I have been buzzing all week. This week has been very much a buzzing around all week kind of week. And I just said, everything is going to end the week. It's going to be a normal, busy week. We're going to end the week off with our same, our same ish. Everything's the same, no issues. And I didn't really focus on numbers this week, right? I really focused on the difference we made this week. And the numbers are showing that. The numbers are showing that. So we are going to, I'm not going to let myself get worked up about it. It's all good. Like I said, we're going to take some deep breaths. We're going into Father's Day week next week. So we will see how everything rolls out. Has anybody else had any issues with the website? I've had a couple people tell me they were not able to check out. I've had other people that have no problems with it. So please contact me if you are having trouble with the website. Please just fill out the contact form so that I can get in contact with you to figure out what that is. But I'm going to tell y'all what, my lives have been getting hidden. Facebook has been shadow banning me like crazy. I was super duper excited for our Wednesday night meditation. We had loads of people on the Zoom. And Heather pointed out, she's like, we've had more people on the Zoom than we've had on live in a really long time. And it was nice to see everybody come together to band together to get that heart space meditation started and rolled out, and it was phenomenal, and it was a great experience the other morning. I did want to talk to y'all today about the pound cake I made yesterday. I said I would explain it on Wake and Bake this morning about the crumbling of the pound cake. So number one, as many of you know, I get asked, Facebook is just hating, it's okay. I get asked occasionally to do specialty orders, like somebody will bring me a recipe and they will ask me to elevate it for them. So it's a favorite recipe, a grandmother's cake, a mom's pie, depending on what it is, right? Ooh, sure, yeah. And so I have this one family who I have this grandmother's cake recipe. It's Sid's famous pound cake. Y'all heard me talk about it. And his cousin ordered a special 7-flavor pound cake, grandma's pound cake, for a beach trip for next week. And it's being picked up today. So I wanted to get that done on yesterday and get the pound cake done. I try to make it as fresh as possible. And pound cake's always, it's all wrapped good. It's going to be perfect for the beach. And so I was like, you leave it on Saturday. I have it ready for you on Friday. So yesterday was the day that I cleared the energy, and I really, truly only focused yesterday on that pound cake. Y'all know that I pull in the woo-woo and the juju whenever I bake. And with this cake, it is somebody's recipe. It is somebody's handwritten recipe from forever ago. And the first time I made this cake, y'all are going to laugh at me when I tell you this, but the first time I made this cake, it turned out kind of wonky. The first cake I made. And I realized, I'm like, it doesn't feel right. Something about making this cake with cannabis, something's feeling a little bit off, right? And so I did a meditation that afternoon about like, what should I do? Why is this cake not working? What's not setting for me? What's not hitting on all cylinders? And I brought in the message from the recipe owner, right? And she was not happy that we were bastardizing her recipe with drugs, right? And I had to, like, I'd spend a little time in the meditation, like saying, I promise you it's not like that. It is medicine. We're not doing it to be silly. I'm treating this with kindness. Please allow me to use this recipe. They really want this. He's gifting it. He loves your recipe so much that even when he wants his edibles, he pays extra to have them done in the way that yours taste. And so, I got through it. So the next time I made it, the cake was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So yesterday, I called it. I was like, okay, well, I know I have to like clear the energy in the house, and I need to like call in this entity and this energy and say, hey, I'm making this again, and I need you to help work through my hands to make sure that it turns out exactly perfect, because they want your cake. And the first time, I don't know if I wasn't set right when I did it, if I didn't get the right energy in, because it happens, right? And the first time the cake, it smelled perfect. It looked perfect. And I went to remove it from the cake pan. It's got the tube pan where you have to like kind of like hold the bottom and the things fall out. Then you have to pull it off of the tube. And I didn't let it cool. What's the problem? What happened? I did not let it cool long enough before trying to remove it from the tube pan. And it fell hard. I also whipped a lot of air into those eggs because I got busy when I was beating the sugar, the butters, and then I put the eggs in, and it got real, like the butter, sugar, and shortening and eggs got giant in my pan. So I think I also whipped too much air into it, and too much air can also make it fall whenever it bakes. But it was interesting because I was like, well, I wanted to taste this to see what the flavor was. And I didn't want to cut their cake. So this gives me a chance. I was going to make myself an extra one of these. And then I talked to him. I said, no, I don't want it. I'm fine. I do not need a pound cake. And the universe was like, yeah, you do. Y'all need one at the house. So I cut a piece of that cake last night. Whenever I wanted to taste it, I was like, well, I've already destroyed it, and it's going to be my cake. I got to make a second one. So I set about the task of making the second cake, and the second cake turned out just exactly right. But it was interesting as I was looking at taking pictures last night of that crumbling cake, that a couple of messages came in. And that's why I said I was going to talk about this today. And this is why I came live today. And whether one person was watching or 30 people were watching, and I'd love to get us up to about 10 watchers today. So if anybody else can do me a favor and tag someone in the comments, I'd appreciate it. And if you can smack those react buttons, the heart button, the like button, the caring button, the O face button, any of those buttons, when you hit those, it's going to make me higher in the algorithm so people will see the live. So if you're going to smack one of those reaction buttons for me, I'd appreciate you, right? So as I was taking pictures of that cake looking all kind of like high up, right? I had this strong message come in. I was looking at that cake and I'm like, wow. I'm like, it's interesting because that cake is such a metaphor for us, right? Sometimes we don't look the best on the outside. Sometimes we're falling apart. Sometimes we're crumbling, right? But we still have the same ingredients that we always had. Like all the ingredients are there. All of our pieces and parts are there. Um, our flavor is still there. We're still the same person that we were, right? Sometimes our outsides don't match our insides. And the more that we feel like we're falling apart or that we're crumbling and all of those things, we look at the outside and we see these things that are happening. Number one, sometimes we need to fall apart to come together, right? That's one thing that came into me is like sometimes you've got to crumble. You got to crumble and you got to fall apart to rebuild back better, right? And it's interesting because the second cake, when I tell y'all it came out perfect, it came out perfect. It smells, everything about this cake just seems to be exactly right. And I did nothing different to the cake other than allow it to have more time to cool off, right? And so what I thought was interesting about that is I'm like, see the difference? And just when I talked about how two things can be true and how sometimes people just are crumbling and they're not set up right. So it was a great metaphor of showing you that like all those ingredients are there. They need a little bit more. They need a little bit more time. And so to remember that people that maybe that either myself or people in my life might just need a little bit more time. And sometimes I just got to be patient and I have to give myself more time so that whenever I try to do things, it doesn't crumble. And that's a lot of the message that I got yesterday about staying in flow and to trust the process, right? It's about being patient and showing myself how all the ingredients can be there, but if you don't do it in the right time, you can fall apart. And how when you do it in the right time, be patient, be kind, be there. Exactly. And that's what the cake proved to me yesterday, right? It showed me yesterday that even when you know what you're doing, right, you could still kind of crumble occasionally, and it's okay. Because I'm going to tell y'all what, like even the crumbling cake got the job done. The crumbling cake and what it was supposed to do, it tasted delicious, right? It tasted delicious. It did not look pretty, but it tasted really good and it definitely got the job done, right? And then another thing that I was laughing about, I'm like, even though it's crumbling, it's still strong, right? And I thought that was an interesting metaphor too, is that a lot of times that we don't like to feel vulnerability as human beings, right? We don't like to feel weak. We don't like to feel like we're crumbling. And in the fear of that crumbling, when we have things in our life, tell me if this is true or not, y'all. When you have things that are kind of going awry in your life and you are feeling weak, right? And that crumbling, that's to me, that's what gets me the anxiety, right? I have had a lot of situations where a lot of stuff was happening, but it was the times in which I did not feel like I had the strength. It was whenever I felt weak and that the crumbling was apparent, right? It was what I worried about everybody seeing, right? Because that cake, if I did a blind taste test with that cake and the one that is perfect, if your eyes were closed and you had a blindfold on and all you had to do was eat the cake, right? And I cut a piece of the crumbling cake and I cut a piece of the perfect cake, you would not know without seeing it, which one was crumbling. You would not know. They I'm guarantee you they taste the same. The inside of that cake is the same. It's the outside, right? So number one, number 500, right? Another little like a metaphor that came in on that cake. A lot of things to me was, you also can't judge a book by its cover, right? And when I was saying about the vulnerability and the weakness and feeling like you're crumbling, for me that's what causes the anxiety, right? I was brought up on an age of never let them see you sweat, right? And so for me, even if my world is falling down around me, if I can keep a brave face on, I don't get as anxious about it. But for some reason, I've always been more worked up and more concerned about when other people can see the crumble. And what I learned about that cake is that I chose the crumble cake for me, right? I was like, this is a more real cake. And it's really like learning to be able to understand that just because you look weak doesn't mean that you are. And that because, and looking at that cake, I'm like, you just can't judge a book by its cover. And since you shouldn't judge this book by its cover, why do I continue to judge my book by its cover, right? When things are not, all the T's are not crossed and all the I's are not dotted, why am I judging that on myself when I should be able to be happy and revel in, I get the job done. I may not look pretty doing it, but I get the job done. And that's what, we should all embrace that piece of us. Good morning. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning. We're talking about crumbling cake today. I'm not going to stay on much longer. We've only been on about 17 minutes today. And I came late came live a little bit late this morning. Not late, a little bit live. Um, because I was moving a little slow this morning. Probably because of that pound cake, right? I had a piece of that last night. Let me tell y'all what, something about um, that cake, and I've actually kind of like figured it out last night. Whenever all of these metaphors were coming in when I was looking at these two cakes, and a lot of it came in last night when I was wrapping them up because I got the second one out of the oven. I let it cool for a long time on the cooling racks. Pulled out the cake boards, cleaned up after dinner, washed the hands, washed the counters down, and then went to move the cakes around to wrap them up for today's orders because they were cooled. And I was wrapping up the crumbly cake for me because, I don't want to leave it stale out on the counter. You got to wrap it. And all of these interesting little like life lessons were coming in as I was looking at the cake. These little snippets of, you can't judge a book by its cover. Just because the outside doesn't look strong doesn't mean the inside is not. And these are all lessons for people, right? And uh, I thought it was interesting because I was also going, what is it about this cake specifically? Because this cake is one of those ones, lollipops and this cake kind of always like make me a little I'm not 100% confident walking in on and making them. For some reason, those two recipes always tend to get me. And, I talked about it a little bit already. A lot of it is that patience, right? Is that ability to slow down, the ability to know that all good things come to those who wait. That cake, and I also was like, I want to know why this cake specifically is so freaking strong. Like, I know how much butter I put in this cake. I know how much butter I put into a German chocolate cake. And I'm going to tell y'all, the German chocolate cake that I made back for the birthday party, that I made some extra ones, that was the highest dosed thing I've ever made, and it rocked my socks. It rocked everybody's socks. But this pound cake is stronger. And it's interesting because in this moment, the reason why, and it's coming back into me because it came in last night, and I'm like, I wonder what it is. Well, here's what it is. Okay. The reason why most edibles are made out of are sweets, right? That you don't just see like potato chip edibles. Like you just don't see those regularly. Like you see mostly sugars and butters and things like that, right? Oh, I'm sorry. So the reason why this cake is the most potent, um, So cannabis loves fat. So cannabis just loves fat. And so this cake has got 2 sticks of butter in it, but it also has additional half cup of shortening. So between it connecting with the shortening and the butter, it just rocks the world. And something about this cake, it is probably it's almost too strong for me. It's almost too strong, on that verge of like, holy moly, it's too strong. And so uh, whenever I eat this cake, it is very much a set me down and do what I need to do. I've only had this cake one other time, like when Sid gave me a piece of it. And so last night was that same thing. It was a setting down, kind of like listening to your intuition. You have no option. And it was interesting, after I did that last night, I sat down, I really thought about like the crumbling of the cake and when's this for, and all these things came in. And then I woke up this morning and I didn't feel like I had that same good juju buzz, right? I woke up this morning kind of feeling meh, kind of feeling eh. The carrier's different, plus Granny gave her consent. The carrier is different. Yes, and Granny gave her consent. I think she's like, okay, you want my cake? Here's my cake, right? You want my cake? Here's my cake. But what I realized this morning was, right? What I realized this morning is that that playing lip service and truly meaning it, right? And when I talked about this morning getting up and checking things and holding space and stuff, this is the integration part that I have to deal with. This is the integration part that I have to come to terms with, is that it's kind of like it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's what's coming in. It's hard to explain, and I don't know if I can yet. I may have to journal it and come back to y'all with this because it's coming in interesting. That's why I paused and I apologize. I didn't expect to kind of like channel a message this morning like this, and it's not meant for y'all. And that's why it's giving me pause. It was more about that. The reason I needed to come live today, right? The reason, good morning, Melanie, is that I needed to come live today was about the, okay. So what my guides and angels are telling me is that, some of the message is not meant for the masses, and that message will come to me today. The message about why I'm meh, that's not meant for the masses. And it's okay to say that's not meant for everybody. I'll work through that today. But what is meant for the masses today is that if you feel like you're crumbling, or if you feel like you are not your best version of yourself today, it's about looking inward, right? It's about looking on what's on the inside. A lot of us tend to pay more attention to what's on the outside versus what's on the inside. And we really need today, like that cake was, that's the lesson the cake is supposed to bring to this group, is that if your ingredients are all there, right? Just be patient with yourself, because if you're patient with yourself, your outsides will start matching your insides. Give yourself grace, give yourself patience, give yourself time, and you will form up to be exactly the person, the thing, the entity, the human, the love, the light energy, whatever you're trying to morph into, whatever you are trying to ascend to, whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. You've got all the ingredients, right? And it's just the time and the temperature that you have to figure out what works best for you. And here's what's interesting, right? Is that I put the ingredients into the exact same order, in the exact same mixer, in the exact same bowl, in the exact same pan, in the exact same oven. Okay. And every time, both times, I got something completely different, you know? And so that's what I want you to know, is that don't stress over your recipe, right? Just allow time. The only difference in those two things, right, were just the patience and the time that I allowed the second one to set. The second one cooled a lot longer. The second one had the support of the pan a lot longer. So that was the message that was supposed to come, because somebody's supposed to hear that. Somebody feels that they are crumbling, and somebody feels that they are not, they don't have all the things that they need to do it. And I'm letting you know, and God is letting you know, and Source is letting you know that you do. You just have to allow the time. And maybe that message is one of those, like my fingers pointing out to you and the thumbs pointing back at me. Maybe that's my message too. Maybe it's like you've got all the ingredients, you've got all the pieces and parts. You just have to remember that everything takes time, and that no good things are rushed. You know, you have to allow them to have all in divine timing, all in perfect time. And so my patience is my nemesis, but I'm working on it. Mine too. Mine too. And I feel like when these messages come through, that a lot of times they're not just for me, they are for somebody else, or sometimes they're not just for somebody else, they're for me. But it is Friday morning. It is the end of our first full week back open for our holidays. We are plugging right along. Hopefully the website the website is working for everybody. We have some new things dropping over the weekend. The macadamia nut and white chocolate cookies and the oatmeal raisin cookies and the fruity pebble bars will be dropped out at noon on Sundays. That website will always be updated, just like the Google form was after our Sunday sermon. On that note, I am going to get off of here today. I know we've only been live for about 30 minutes. It'll probably be another 15 by the time I say my southern goodbye. But we are not going to stay long today. I do have to go in there and get some stuff done. We got some orders for some white cheddar popcorn today. So I'm going to go in there and make some white cheddar popcorn. I've got to make some pineapple upside down cakes. And we have to bake off some cookies today. And we have to do some candy bars. The chocolate bars have really gone. So we got someone ordered, what should we call it? So I will be going, I'll probably have some pictures of those later on, the new candy bars. We have gotten a lot of the elevated chocolate bars, which I'm going to start doing some videos on how to melt those down and how to utilize those as a cooking tool. You can make a chocolate bar into a whole batch of brownies for game night at your house. Or I can show you how to make a chocolate sauce for ice cream, or use it in cookies or whatever else. Like you can make a whole thing of Elvis cookies with that chocolate. So there's lots and lots of stuff that you can do with that chocolate bar, other than just eat a chocolate bar, which you can just do that as well. But more to come on that. We are in our first week. Don't forget that every order placed between last Wednesday evening and before we go live on the next What's Up Wednesday, we will do a pull from the popsicle stick jar. Each of these sticks have corresponding gifts on them. So you would pick your color, and then I would pull the color out. And like this one says, buy 4, get 1 free. So you can buy any 4 items and get the 5th item free. This one says buy 1, get 1 50% off. So buy 1 item, get 1 of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Let's see, what does this purple one say? This one says $2. Oops, it slid off. $2 off your next item. No, it's $3 off your next item. So your next item that you would order, you could get $3 off of that. So there are lots and lots of different prizes in here. Buy 5, get 1 free. Let's see. All kinds of free cookie. Take 10% off your order. So there's all kinds of different prizes in there. And everyone who places an order, you get to pull a stick for every order you place. So on that note, I love each and every one of you. I'm going to go get in that kitchen this morning. I got to go get some things done. I got people picking up at lunchtime, get these catering orders done. And then we're going to be over on the new property on the weekend, getting some information on getting the land cleared, getting the driveway cut in, and getting the Hometown Hippie Forever home started. Super excited. Red is saying January. I'm saying probably July of next year. So, but we're starting that path on Sunday. There'll be more videos to come on that. I hope that everyone has a beautiful and blessed rest of your Friday. I hope that you get a chance to get out in nature and smell the fresh air and take some deep breaths in. Also, I am going to see about moving our heart space list. We're going to get that going for next week. And we are going to maybe move that to an earlier time. People said 9 o'clock was hard for staying up. They'd like to be a part of it. So we may have to look at another night, maybe a Tuesday or a Thursday night. And we will do that like at 8 o'clock so that everybody can have a chance to be a part of the meditation. I will be back again live on Sunday morning with Sunday Sermon. Until then, as always, peace, love, and feast. And I appreciate y'all. Stay elevated. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Bye.